from NC State. This year, she's playing like it. Look at those numbers. She has been leading this BC offensive attack. She's going to have a good game tonight, Sam.
No question about it, KG, as we are ready for tip-off here inside Conti Forum. Great to have you with us here today in what should be a really, really exciting test. A couple of fast-paced offenses from last year, but different teams in different places right now. Boston College controls the tip, and the young freshman point guard, Taina Mair, with the ball. Look at the Boston College starting five, team that was picked to finish 13th in the preseason polls after losing 5 seniors from last year, deciding to play and use their COVID years elsewhere. As Dontavia Waggoner, who you said, Kelly, needed to be big in this game, gets the first bucket.
That's a good sign for Boston College to see Dontavia Waggoner aggressive early and attacking this Ohio State defense. Some
early pressure there up on J.C. Sheldon. Sheldon gets it back, three-pointer top of the key, bit too strong. And a rebound there for Waggoner, so getting it done on both ends of the floor. Taina Mair, nice crossover, guarded closely by Taylor Theory, but turns it over. That's been a big issue for Boston College. They're averaging 22 in the first 2 games, but there's a charge on the other end.
Great job by, I believe that's one of the freshmen, Todd. I thought it was JoJo Lacey for a second, but this is freshman on freshman crime here. Cody McMahon, super talented freshman for Ohio State. And Todd does a great job of obtaining that legal guarding position outside of the restricted area and forces a turnover.
So Boston College able to break the press there. It was something that head coach Joanna Burnaby-McNamee had talked about, how they were going to try and use the pressure to their advantage, but last 2 possessions been a pair of turnovers, Kelly.
And that's 2 quick turnovers for BC. Ohio State hasn't even pressed yet. Ohio State is one of those teams that wants to press on every single make. You're going to see them try to speed this game up. They are ruthless with their pressure. They're in incredible shape, and that's why for BC, that's the key. Handle Ohio State's pressure and limit at least one splash sister, J.C. Sheldon or Taylor Mixel. And then for Ohio State, play the game at your pace, get off to a quick start. Those are the keys for the Buckeyes.
There is J.C. Sheldon, the senior guard from Dublin, Ohio, coming off an AP All-American honorable mention season. And here comes the full court pressure. Mixel dishes it off to Rebecca Mikulashikova for 2.
Mixel can do more than just shoot the 3, and that was a great pass. And here's Ohio State setting up that trademark pressure off of a make.
Taylor Theory lost it out of bounds, last touched by Mair, but this pressure is a problem right now for Boston College early.
And it's a problem for everybody that Ohio State plays. This is a great pass by Mixel. It was a problem for opponents last year, but specifically it was a problem for Tennessee, who's supposed to be one of the best teams in the country.
JoJo Lacey, little step over there, the junior guard from Douglasville, PA.
Sam, in addition to Dontavia Waggoner, the other player that I think needs to step up offensively is JoJo Lacey, one of the veterans on this team. They need her to be in double figures tonight.
Here comes the freshman Todd trying to go coast to coast. Little contact there, offensive rebound. Waggoner can't finish, now does on the second try. Dontavia Waggoner now with 4 points.
Waggoner is a player that only averaged 3 points per game last year.
Jump ball possession arrow will stay with Ohio State.
Even after Ohio State's big win over Tennessee, which has been all the talk in women's hoop circles, Boston College has come out as the aggressor. I'm very impressed with the attitude and the poise they've shown so far.
Little lackluster pass there leading to a turnover for Boston College. First shot is no good. Fresh 20 on the shot clock. Here's Taina Mair with the floater. That's no good. And Mikulashikova with the rebound. Now, J.C. Sheldon is getting hounded right now by the freshman Todd, and she's turned it over a couple of times now. This one's staying home, though, with Ohio State.
Todd's doing a good job on J.C. Sheldon. We're really seeing a difference here with these backcourts. You've got Sheldon and Mixel, who are, for lack of a better term, old ladies in women's hoops, 4th and 5th year players. And you've got Todd and Mair, who are both true freshmen starting for Boston College.
Ricky Harris has checked into the game for Ohio State. Nice lay-in for 2. Taylor Theory, the sophomore from Cleveland. More full court pressure causes another turnover. In transition, Sheldon for three is short, and Todd reels in the rebound. Nobody in front of Mair in the open floor, and an easy two for the freshman.
And this is how BC is going to build their confidence in this game. Getting easy baskets like that in transition, especially for a young team playing an Ohio State team that has all these high expectations.
Kelly, we've already had 9 turnovers combined in the first quarter between these two teams. Finally, a shot was able to get off for Ohio State. Won't fall. Boston College with an early 8-6 lead. Here's a three for JoJo Lacey. That's no good. Mikula Shikova with the rebound. Something that Coach Burnaby McNamee was saying, we got to get our threes going.
Well, part of the reason why we've had so many turnovers, have we had a stoppage in play?
I don't think so.
This game has just been back and forth, and shown right there by the three from Ohio State.
Rebecca Mikula Shikova had 17 points, and the win over Tennessee was big underneath for Ohio State. That one coming in from behind. Mikesell on the ground. Might have a foul there.
Sam, you mentioned the turnovers. This is what Ohio State wants. They want to speed you up. They want to have a frantic pace of play, as you see the Mikula Shikova three, who she's shooting the ball a lot better from three this year. But this is the style that Ohio State wants to play. And BC so far, they seem pretty comfortable at it. They've been able to score in transition as well.
We have not seen the ball go inside to Maria Gakdeng. Now here it is on Mikula Shikova. Gakdeng tied up underneath in a jump ball. It will stay with the Eagles, but how crucial is she going to be this year for Boston College?
She had an exceptional freshman season, averaged 9 points, just over 6 boards, and of course had those 73 blocks as a freshman, which was a BC record. This just shows the respect she's getting from Ohio State. The first time Gakdeng got the ball inside, they doubled her. You don't double a player like that unless you really feel she's a threat. Even with Mikula Shikova, they brought a second player. That shows me a lot of respect for Maria Gakdeng.
JoJo Lacey creates the open space, fading away, tough shot, and the offensive boards are playing a factor. I don't think that touched the rim, so the shot clock did not reset. Will be Ohio State's ball.
Boston College is dominating the glass early. That's a big deal for BC. Ohio State takes pride in its rebounding. They're very good over the years when they rebound the ball, and I believe that should have been a backcourt. I think because Todd touched it, they didn't call it. But BC rebounding the ball well. Another
turnover, make it the 5th for Ohio State, leading to transition points for Boston College. And Todd.
It's BC turning Ohio State over and scoring points off of that. They're beating Ohio State right now at their own game.
Mikesell with the floater. That's no good. 2-on-2 for the Eagles. Now 3-on-2 with Waggoner in trail. From 15 feet, Todd's shot is no good, and Sheldon bumped from behind. And Sheldon slow to get up to her feet, and I think that's because we've been going back and forth throughout this entire first quarter, Kelly.
How about these young Eagles? Off to a really good start against one of the premier teams in the country. The physicality, the effort, getting out in transition. We've got a good one here in Conti Forum. Not at all. Ohio State's coming off that win over number 5 Tennessee, and Boston College said, we don't care. That's the approach that we've seen from BC. And to me, that really reflects Coach Burnaby McNamee at Boston College. She is such a tough-nosed kind of coach, and it feels like her attitude is being reflected onto her team right now.
So Ricky Harris in the game as the point guard. And an offensive foul as Theory bumps into Allie Van Timmeren in the paint.
This is a good call. Van Timmeren obtained that guarding position, had the shoulder lowered into her. That's going to be a charge every time.
Full court pressure from Ohio State was so crucial in that win over Tennessee. Able to force 29 turnovers from Tennessee in that game, get 39 points off of those turnovers as well.
Coach Mack told us in order to prepare for Ohio State's pressure, they had their scout team using 6 players when they pressed them in practice. And that has happened before too. When I played, we did that. There is nothing more frustrating than having 6 grown men pressing you in practice, but it does prepare you for this kind of situation.
Six turnovers apiece for both these sides. Lacey guarding the inbounds there, able to get it in. Ricky Harris with the drive, she gets fouled, and will go to the line to shoot 2.
We'll have our first free throws of this game in a game where it feels like we haven't had many stoppages. And Ricky Harris is a tough player for Ohio State. Second on the team in steals last year, had 3 points versus Tennessee, but it feels like Coach McGuff wanted to settle his team down a bit, so you put in a veteran like Ricky Harris.
Their other point guard, Madison Green, was injured all of last year. But Ricky Harris had to come in and fill that point guard spot last year for Green.
And Green is also out there on the floor for Ohio State as well.
Ball finds JoJo Lacey.
Most of BC's turnovers have not really come against the press. They've come in the half court.
Todd with 10 on the shot clock. Andrea Daly. Too many steps.
You either have to go up with that and use your 2 steps or jump stop onto 2 feet. You can't take a step and then jump stop onto 2 feet like that. You have to jump stop clean or they're going to call that.
Ebony Walker has also entered the game, the senior Syracuse transfer by way of Ohio State. Ricky Harris from the elbow, bit too strong, and Daly with a strong rebound. All tied 10 apiece. No Maria Gakdeng in this game, so Daly takes it herself. The sophomore from Miami, Florida. And a whistle in the backcourt. It's going against Todd.
And against him, it's that aggressiveness from BC, slashing to the rim. They're not settling for threes. They have not shot the 3 ball well this year. And so they're playing to their strengths. They're attacking the basket. They're trying to beat Ohio State in one-on-one situations and doing a good job of that so far.
Underneath, Walker able to get it back out to Madison Green, who lays it in with the left hand. Played in her first game in 636 days last Tuesday against Tennessee, after missing the entire season last year. Taylor Mikesell coming back into the game for Ricky Harris after catching a quick breath. Kelly, what is Boston College doing well that maybe Tennessee didn't do that well against the press for Ohio State? Again, limited action. We're still in the first quarter, but they've been able to break it.
BC just looks more poised against the pressure. Again, they do have some turnovers, but weirdly, a lot of those have come in the half court. I think they watched that film, that Ohio State-Tennessee film, and it seems their press break practice has worked. I'm frankly surprised because this is a young BC team, and they've had some turnover issues in the first 2 games, but they don't look young so far. They're doing a good job of handling the pressure. And there's a turnover in the half court. That's not something we'd really expect versus this Ohio State team.
Head coach Joanna Burnaby-McNamee in her 5th year led the Eagles to their second 20-win season in the last 3 years, going 21-12 last year. Landed squarely on the bubble, missing the NCAA tournament.
This is one reason why we're even getting to see this basketball game. Coach Mack told me she was trying to increase the strength in her non-conference schedule because one of the issues they missed the tournament last year is because they lost to Boston University, which was a tough game for them, and their non-conference schedule was not very difficult, and she wants to get in the NCAA tournament. I thought last year's BC team was an NCAA tournament team, but you had that one-off loss to BU that really hurt them. So credit Coach Mack for going out, scheduling a little tougher, and trying to get her team in a better position.
Trying to do what has not been done since 2006, and that is take Boston College to the NCAA tournament. Funny enough, the last time they were in the NCAA tournament, they beat Ohio State.
And there is a caveat to that. Boston College was securely in the NCAA tournament field in the COVID season. They would have made the tournament that year, which is just brutal for a BC program that, like you said, Sam, hasn't made a tournament in so long.
Ohio State leading by 1. Waggoner picks up the dribble. Gakdeng couldn't handle it underneath. Waggoner gets it back, puts up a layup, And we got a lot of bodies on the ground here. Foul going against Ohio State. I believe that's on Taylor Theory.
It feels like right now, Sam, that Boston College wants these loose balls a little more than Ohio State. Waggoner, she does the dirty work. She's always in there trying to grab a rebound. She's so tough. She's so physical inside.
Boston College out-rebounding Ohio State 11-7. Mair, long two, off the mark. There's another offensive rebound from Gakdeng. Kicks it out with a fresh 20. Good ball movement. Again, a long two for Waggoner. That's no good. Boston College trying to improve from the field. That's 6 for 17 now. Sheldon in the open floor puts it up and in.
Sheldon and Mikesell in transition is so tough to guard. Mikesell was in the paint. She flared out to the baseline. Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
How about the steal and the pass from Sheldon? And here we go again. Sheldon had it partially blocked by Daly. But my goodness, I mean, she blocked that one, able to get it off to Mikesell. Here's Gakdeng now in transition.
JC Sheldon already has 4 steals. She had 8 steals against Tennessee. She is so pesky. She is the kind of player that you dread seeing on the scouting report because she has such a relentless motor defensively.
I think Gakdeng certainly affected that shot from Walker. Once again, Daly leading the break in transition. Boston College refusing to go away here in the first quarter as the clock winds down in what has been a fast-paced opener. Gakdeng deflects that one. And that will do it for the first quarter as Ohio State does indeed head into the first break with a 1-point lead. But JC Sheldon was causing problems at the end there, Kelly.
How about 4 steals in the first quarter for JC Sheldon?
App State kicking it off at 6 Eastern time from Kentucky. Then Armando Bacot, #1 North Carolina, hosting Gardner-Webb at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill. North Carolina returning 4 of their 5 starters from last year's team. An exciting basketball season here, no question about it. Been an exciting first quarter here inside Conti Forum as Ohio State leading Boston College by 1. There's a backdoor cut there by JC Sheldon with the reverse layup. And JC Sheldon now leading the way with 6 points for the Buckeyes.
She got going in the second part of that first quarter. It's so hard to thread the needle inside the paint, passing the ball. That was a great job by Ohio State.
Then Tiburon had it blocked, now has it blocked again. That's Shoemate. Now in transition, Mikesell puts it up and in.
Ohio State can score in bunches, and if you don't take care of the basketball, you'll look up and they've gone on a 10-0 run and you don't know what's happened. So BC has to be careful here with this Ohio State pressure.
Taina Mair waiting for the play to develop, now pushes Van Timmeren to the corner. One poked all the way back. Shot clock still winding down now. 2 seconds and a half court heave from Waggoner. Misses the bucket. So shot clock violation and a turnover.
That was great half-court defense by Ohio State as you see all those blocks on the previous possession. But to play defense like that in a stance for 30 seconds, nothing feels better to get that than to get that shot clock violation.
Mikesell has it stripped away. And rare to see the ball taken out of Taylor Mikesell's hands. Gakdeng trying to get position underneath. And Waggoner, once again, too many steps.
We haven't seen BC go to Gakdeng as much. We talked about it when they went inside during the first quarter, but they only did that once or twice in the first quarter. I think Gakdeng is someone that BC needs to find a way to get the ball to a little more in the second quarter.
Here's JC Sheldon, wide open for 3. Can't connect on that one, and Sheldon is 0 for 3 now from long range today. Another rarity for an excellent 3-point shooting team between Sheldon and Mikesell. Deanna Todd, skip pass. Waggoner, 10 on the shot clock. Guarded by Shoemate, throws up a wild shot. And here comes Ohio State now 3-on-2. Green lost the dribble. Now Shoemate wide open for three. That's no good. Ohio State 1 for 6 now from long range. Back the other way, Daly up and in. She's had a couple of really easy baskets on that side of the floor tonight.
Really good finish by Daly, able to collect herself and go back up with it instead of rushing it once she got the ball.
And another turnover for Ohio State. Todd on the other end of the floor, and a timeout for Ohio State as Kevin McGuff has seen enough. Boston College pulls within one. 21-20 as Coach McGuff for Ohio State calls time.
Auto owners insures your car.
All right, welcome back. 21-20, Boston College down by a point. 7:04 left to go in the second quarter as you get a look at head coach Kevin McGuff in his 10th season at Ohio State. Kelly led the Buckeyes to the Sweet 16 last year for the first time since 2017, along with a share of a Big Ten regular season championship. And in a time of the transfer portal, Coach McGuff has kind of built up his players and kept a lot of his players as well.
And recruited a lot of great players out of the state of Ohio, like J.C. Sheldon, Cody McMahon. Those are some of those that have come from that home state. He's also used the portal well, getting Taylor Mikesell, who was at Maryland, then Oregon, at Ohio State, and pairing her with J.C. Sheldon has been a great move.
Look out, Daly with a swat.
Sam called a volleyball game at noon. That seemed like that should have been in the volleyball game. Wow.
Unbelievable. Coming all the way across from the other corner, Daly blocked that one out of the hands of Deary.
Daly has just been great for Boston College off the bench. 6 points right now, 2 rebounds, and this swat.
Ooh.
Not in her house. That's not a block, Sam, that's a swat.
That's a swat.
SWAT team.
Madison Green, that's a tough pass to make there into a lot of traffic. 3-on-2, dished off to Daly. Daly with a hesitation and puts it up. How about the start for Andrea Daly?
Daly's been a revelation. She did not play much last year as a true freshman. She comes into this game, 2 games into the season, averaging 3.5 points, and she's been one of the best players on the floor.
Taylor Mikesell has been one of the best players on the floor, probably since she was 5. Knocks down the 3 there, and a much-needed 3 at that. That's just the second made 3 in 7 attempts for Ohio State tonight.
It's only a matter of time before she gets going. You just want to try to limit her. Tennessee did a really good job of limiting her in the first half in that game, but the second half she went off.
Sheldon leading the break, up and in for 2. J.C. Sheldon with 8 now. Kind of got the feeling this is a crucial part in the game right now. If Boston College can keep it close in these last 5 minutes of the half. Mair for 3. Rattles around and eventually falls out of bounds. Will stay with Boston College. Well, Thursday, the women's basketball game of the night features a matchup of 2 undefeateds as Dawn Staley and #1 South Carolina taking on Clemson at Littlejohn Coliseum. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern right here on the ACC network and the ESPN app. Kelly, you will be on the call for that one, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Always a pleasure to call a game with the #1 team in the country, and then how about a little rivalry thrown in there? That's going to be a fun one.
Rivalry renewed, and a Clemson team that is also young, but very, very talented squad for Amanda Butler down there.
BC has been good in transition. When they force turnovers, they've gotten out in transition and scored. They have to be a little more efficient in the half court, especially in this part of the game, to your point, Sam.
Boston College shooting 39% from the field so far in the first half. Quick pass underneath to Theory, fakes the shot, gets fouled. She will go to the line to shoot 2. Foul goes against JoJo Lacey. That's going to be her 3rd, Kelly.
And that's big. JoJo Lacey is someone that we thought needed to step up tonight. She only has 2 points, but 3 fouls. She's one of the few juniors, and if you're a junior on this BC team, you're a veteran because of how many freshmen they have. And Coach Mack is most likely not going to be able to use her for the rest of this half.
This Boston College team picked to finish 13th in the preseason poll. Theory missed a pair. Still a 4-point deficit for Boston College, and that one out of bounds as Todd races after it.
It is so impressive to be able to set up a good press defense off of a miss. That is very rare. Most teams only press off of makes. Ohio State is so comfortable with how they press and knows exactly where they need to be. They just set up a press off of a missed free throw. That is so difficult to do.
I think you made a good point, too, in the break. For what Ohio State lacks in size, they make up with in intensity and how they play. As Ricky Harris able to knock down the 3 there. She only had 3 points in the win over Tennessee. Here's Andrea Daly now on the open floor. Mair. One tipped by Harris. And a foul goes against Mikulashikova. First foul on Rebeka Mikulashikova, senior forward from Slovakia. Daly on Cody McMahon, looking for help.
Mikulashikova is doing a really good job on Gakdeng inside. She has basically not let her get position, and there, a perfect example of Mikulashikova helping on that screen.
Waggoner able to get the shot off, but Mikulashikova able to bring in her 4th rebound of the game. Quickly back the other way, McMahon fires a pass over to Sheldon. Now underneath, Mikulashikova hands it off, and up and in for Ricky Harris. How about that? Beautiful play.
Excellent coordination between those two, and Ricky Harris just read that Mikulashikova was probably not going to be able to get off a shot there. Cut right to the basket and got an easy 2.
Ohio State on a 10-0 run, looking to possibly make it more as Mikesell is fouled.
And right here, this is just that nonverbal communication where you've been playing with each other and you know where you need to be for your teammate. Mikulashikova, I think, just saw Ricky Harris cutting out of the side of her eye because she was looking down trying to dribble. And that's great teamwork inside and a heads-up cut by Harris.
So Taylor Mikesell will shoot a couple of free throws. And Kelly, it was not a given that she was going to return for Ohio State. Didn't decide to return until the final day of the deadline, but she did have an inkling that she would come back after speaking with fellow guard J.C. Sheldon after that Sweet 16 loss to Texas, a loss they were so close to winning. But they have Mikesell back, and Ohio State now causing some problems in a timeout for Boston College here. 33-22, Ohio State now on a 12-0 run over the last 3 minutes. And head coach Joanna Burnaby-McNamee going to talk this one over.
This is Masterclass.
They talk football as well as the latest from around the ACC sports world. Tune in weekdays at 4 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Under 3 to play here in the first half. Kelly Gramlich, Sam Ravitch on hand with you here in what has been a fast-paced, turnover-laden first half as Cody McMahon lays it in.
It is just beautiful to watch Ohio State press and to watch the cohesion they have. And once they start speeding you up like this, they're just hunting. These players in red are hunters. They are looking for that turnover. They're looking for that little a hint of indecision in your eyes.
Answer on the other end for Maria Gakdeng, but Kelly, that's 18 turnovers now for Boston College.
That is a number that you don't want to have in the first half, and so many of these are forced. It's because of Ohio State's pressure. They are one of the best pressing teams in the country. They're going to make you so uncomfortable. They can do a 2-2-1. Right now they're trapping. They have multiple presses, of course, because this is what they do. It's a huge part of their identity. They're trapping that first pass. A lot of teams, Sam, just trap the first pass. Ohio State just keeps trapping. They are relentless.
Sheldon finds McMahon. McMahon's pass too hot to handle for Ricky Harris, going the other way.
And this was against Tennessee. They pressed on 64% of possessions. You might say, well, that seems kind of low. That's because they really only press off of makes. In the second half, they pressed pretty much every single possession, it felt like. And when they pressed Tennessee, they caused a turnover on over half
It's amazing.
of those possessions. So they've been super effective with it. And Tennessee, like we said, one of the best teams in the country, has great guard play. If you can turn Tennessee over, you can turn almost any team over with your pressure.
10 on a shot clock for Gakdeng. Thought about it. Now kicks it back out. Todd for three. Off the front iron, and McMahon gets fouled, going for the rebound by Dontavia Waggoner.
Coach Mack told us she wanted Gakdeng to be a little more aggressive from that high post to attack the rim. It's hard for her to do so right now because a lot of Ohio State players are sagging off of her BC teammates because Boston College at this point just hasn't proven they can shoot the three consistently. They're 0 for 4 tonight. They're 5 for 32 on the season. So it's not allowing a lot of space for Gakdeng to work because you can sag off of the other shooters.
Boston College returns just 27% of their scoring from last year. Gakdeng, of course, a big part of that 20%. In the corner for three, Green knocks it down.
Remember when I said Ohio State can go on a 10-0 run, just you blink and they did it? Well, they're on a 19-3 run in the last 4.5 minutes.
Also knocked down a couple of threes here in the second quarter. That's been a big help to them offensively. Taina Mair fading away. Tough shot. And Sheldon behind the back off the rebound. Such a fast-paced team, Kelly. I mean, they were one of the best offenses last year, averaging over 78 points a game, but it's because they really like to push the ball. Mikulashikova for three off the back iron. Tiana Todd picks up the dribble. "20 seconds left here in this second quarter. A ball scrambled for, and Ohio State ends up with it. Shot clock is off and a foul on Todd.
And as usual, J.C. Sheldon is everywhere. I'm not sure I've called a game where I've seen this. She is about to have, she has 9 steals. She has 10 points and 9 steals in the first half. I have never seen a first half double-double with points and steals. I don't know if you've seen that, Sam.
No, I haven't, but there's no question. J.C. Sheldon is either leading or at the top of the NCAAs in steals.
Because she had 8 against Tennessee.
Right. Clock winding down here on the first half. And Ohio State ends the first half on a 21-3 run, Kelly, over the last 6 minutes. Really impressive stuff from the 14th ranked team of the country as they lead it 42-25. What was the biggest difference, Kelly, in the last second half?
I thought it was J.C. Sheldon. She said
Ohio State here as we're getting ready to start the second half inside Conti Forum. Alongside Kelly Gramlich, I'm Sam Ravitch. Pleasure to have you with us here on this Sunday evening. Boston College will start with the ball here in the third quarter. Mair had a couple of turnovers in the first half, but this one will be whistled underneath and a foul going against Rebecca Mikulashikova.
And BC made that concerted effort right away to try to get the ball inside to Maria Gakdeng. J.C. Sheldon, she was the catalyst for this team in the first half. Nearly a points, steals, double-double in 20 minutes of basketball.
Now back going the other way. Gakdeng returns the favor with the foul against Mikulashikova.
Trading fouls inside. Those two, it's been a physical battle. And I thought Mikulashikova got the better of Gakdeng in the first half. So I'm sure Coach Mack challenged Gakdeng to be more physical in that halftime locker room.
Cody McMahon couldn't handle the bounce pass underneath. Here's JoJo Lacey with a little Euro step and the finish at the rim.
We said this in the first half. BC needs JoJo Lacey to be aggressive offensively. That's a good sign.
She had 14 points in the loss to Harvard this last Thursday night, and the travel for J.C. Sheldon.
This is BC forcing a turnover, and JoJo Lacey just taking it coast to coast in a very impressive finish.
Here's Lacey again, will fire from 3 and hit. JoJo Lacey with a quick 5 points in the last 30 seconds. Lacey now leading the way with 7 points. There's contact there. Gakdeng with the stuff.
Doing what she does best, had 73 blocks last season, set the BC record as a freshman. Another block right there.
She already ranks 9th all time in school history with 76 blocks. She's just a sophomore. Taylor Theory takes it out of the hands of Lacey and lays it up back on the other end. Ends a bit of a run for Boston College there. Taina Mair floats one up to Gakdeng, brought it down, that's the mistake. And a 3-second violation on Gakdeng.
That was also a little bit of a tough pass to catch, but Gakdeng with her size, her length, knowing she had that easy two, you've got to be able to come down with that ball.
Sheldon pushing off there. Gives the referee a little bit of a look. Says, I don't know about that one, but might have got that arm extended.
It's interesting because, well, that maybe a little,
little embellishment.
Acting embellishment. There's the word, Sam. But you and I commented at halftime that first half was pretty physical. We didn't hear that many whistles, and now we've seen quite a few whistles in the beginning of the third quarter.
Mair loses the dribble, but Gakdeng travels once she regains possession. Just kind of been a little herky-jerky, I guess, for Gakdeng. Hasn't been able to get in a rhythm for Boston College today.
And she's going up against a very experienced senior player in Mikola Shakova inside.
Still has 5 points, though. Bounce pass finds its way out to Meixel for 3. That's no good, and Waggoner brings in the rebound. Boston College looking to run. In transition, Waggoner, no good. Brought down by Gakdeng for a moment, will stay with the Eagles.
And that's already Wagner's 10th rebound. I love how she rebounds out of that wing spot. She's so athletic, she's 6 foot. When she transferred into BC last year, I remember talking to Coach Mack about her, and she said she instantly became the best athlete on the team.
Nice find there for Lacey down low to Gakdeng. She's got 7 points now. 44-32. And another travel. Turnovers piling up on Ohio State's side now on this end of the floor.
We talk about a player like Dontavia Waggoner. I mentioned this in our open. 4-star recruit, top 40 player in the class of 2020. Went to NC State, didn't play that much, decided to transfer to BC. Played more of a limited role last year because BC had those 5 seniors, but did play well down the stretch in the ACC tournament. And now Coach Mack is asking a lot more of Dontavia Waggoner. She is a great rebounder for her size, and when she gets out in transition, she is incredibly hard to stop.
And look, I think if we're being honest, there was certainly some frustration on Dontavia's part last year because she wasn't really able to play a whole lot. There was a lot of seniors on this team, but she's making the most of her action here this year so far, as that one rolls over to the backcourt. Picked up her first career double-double on Thursday in the loss to Harvard. Probably going to see a lot of those this year. Diana Todd getting a talking to from Coach Mack. Cody McMahon has it blocked by Gakdeng. A late whistle, foul underneath.
Gakdeng's 4th block of the day. She has such a good feel for it, too. She does a great job of blocking without making too much contact. It's really good hands inside defensively.
This one finds the hands of Waggoner. Waggoner on Mikesell. Waggoner can't finish at the rim, but the follow, Daly, no good.
In order to climb back into this game, BC has to make layups. You can't miss layups when you're trying to get back into a game against a top 15 team.
Mikulášíková, her second three of the night. That's something that she can do that a couple of other bigs can't do in the country.
And there's a 5-point swing. You miss the layup, come down on the other end, Ohio State hits a 3.
7 points for Mikulášíková now. 5-second violation, and Daly turns it over. All right, folks, Tuesday night we'll have a men's basketball doubleheader for you right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Louisville and App State kicking it off at 6 Eastern time from Kentucky. Then Armando Bacot, #1 North Carolina, hosting Gardner-Webb at the Dean Smith Center. All right here on the ACC Network. A scrum forward underneath. Theory on the second try, able to find the basket.
Theory is such a good-looking player. She's 5'11". She has great athleticism, and she can do everything. Coach McGuff really likes having her on the floor. He feels like she complements Sheldon and Mikesell. She doesn't need to get that many shots, but she rebounds, she gets deflections. She does a lot of other things for this team.
Mikulášíková, who is an underrated passer, this time puts it up with the left hand after she drew a couple of defenders. Move to the basket off the side of the backboard. Back the other way goes Ohio State. Transition three for Sheldon. A little bit off. Sheldon's shot has not been there tonight from long range. She's 0 for 4.
Which is rare for one of the Splash sisters, but she has made up for it in other ways, still scoring the ball and setting the pace for this team.
49-34. As we will step aside for a quick break, Rebecca Mikulášíková able to knock down her second three of the night, standing at 6'4", and Ohio State holding on to the lead. Welcome back. Number 14, Ohio State leading 49-34 with 4:43 left to go here in the third quarter. You look at a couple of the changes for Boston College, and head coach Burnaby McNamee, a couple of Boston College Eagles leaving. Cameron Schwartz, Taylor Soule, Michaela Dickens, Arnell Gerard, Jalen Batts, and Clara Ford all left, utilizing a couple of them utilizing their fifth years elsewhere. But certainly a big loss to not have any of them, come back and use that year here.
And it's a very unique situation. 5 of those players on that graphic graduated from Boston College, and they all played a big role, but they all decided to try something else. They've been at BC for 4 years. They wanted to use that COVID year and get a fresh start. And I've talked to Coach Mack about it. She says, I don't blame him. I totally understand. She's on great terms with all of them. They're all Boston College graduates. But it is tough from a BC perspective when you don't get any of those players back. And so you're so young. They're so young on this team. The juniors are basically considered the veterans. They're actually one of 2 teams in the Power 5 without a senior or a grad student. And in the age of the transfer portal, that is very rare.
Oh, it's amazing, in the fact that they're able to put up a fight against a good Ohio State team says a lot about the character of this team. Foul going against Madison Green there of Ohio State. And again, keep in mind, you were saying it, Kelly, this is early. I mean, this is this is the second game of the year for Ohio State and the third game of the year for Boston College. So as our friend Stephen A. Smith says, it's fluid. Everything's fluid.
We always see a lot of turnovers in early games as teams are figuring out how to play with each other. And this is what we were talking about, that experience gap. You look at the average games played. Ohio State has 5 seniors plus a grad student, so 6 seniors, if you will, and BC has none. And you're seeing some of that, I think, in terms of the depth for Ohio State and just being able to sustain Ohio State's runs. And Ohio State has a few turnovers as well. It's not like they've taken great care of the ball, but that's how they play. They want to play fast. They want you to think you want to play this pace, and then you look down and you realize you have 27 turnovers, and you're thinking, ooh, we don't want to play this pace, because this is what Ohio State does night in and night out.
McMahon, skip pass, little contact there on the shot, not called. McMahon on the follow. Can't finish, but Mikulášikova's there to put it back up and in.
That was a great rebound by Cody McMahon. She is a player that you look at her, and I am shocked she's a freshman.
Yeah.
She looks like she's been playing college basketball for 3 or 4 years and got a lot of great experience this summer playing with the USA U18 team in the 2022 FIBA Americas tournament. Led them to gold, averaged 14 points per game and nearly 8 boards.
Ricky Harris got a hand in there, but there's Cody McMahon, and Coach Kevin McGuff talked a lot about how they have been watching her for quite a while now. Grew up in Centerville, Ohio, which is not that far away from Ohio State. And actually earned the start against Tennessee on Tuesday. All 5 starters, by the way, in that Tennessee game reached double-figure scoring, including Cody McMahon, who had 10 points. Daly now into double figures. She's got 10 points on the night.
And the beauty for Ohio State of having Madison Green back is they can play J.C. Sheldon off ball as well, because she's such a good scorer. You want her to be able to get the ball on the wing and attack. But she also has become comfortable at the 1. Coach McGuff told us that as well. And that's just going to make her even more attractive at the next level, where she can play the 1 and the 2, but specifically the 1 at her size at 5'10" with her defensive abilities. That's a good combination.
You think that's her future, is playing more of that point guard role and being able to distribute as well as score?
I tend to think so. I think at 5'10", I mean, you could play the 2 in the W or overseas, but playing the 1 and being able to shoot like she does, especially with how she can guard, I think that's going to set her up for success.
Rebecca Mikulášikova leading the way for Ohio State now. 15 points, make it 16 on the night. 55-37 is our score. Under 3 left to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Auto owners ensures it.
All right, folks, welcome back inside Conti Forum. Number 14, Ohio State leading 55-37. Take a look at the turnovers forced against number 5, Tennessee. 29 already today. 27, Kelly, and the points, of course, coming off those turnovers.
And they're still pressing. They're up nearly 20 into the 3rd quarter. They're not going to stop doing what they do, and they just force a turnover. But great job by Mair to get back in there and pick J.C. Sheldon's pocket.
That's going to go backcourt violation.
Ohio State is so good. You can tell they practice this press so much, and Coach McGuff recruits to his system and wants players that can play in the press, but they are so good at finding those dead man corners. The corners where you're backed up against the half-court line and you have the sideline and you have a trap. You can't do much out of that corner, and also the corner when you first pass the ball in as well. They gravitate and they force players to those corners.
Mair looking inside, finds Gakdeng in the reverse layup. Nice move by the sophomore Gakdeng.
That is an impressive finish, and Gakdeng has such good touch. You can't teach her kind of touch around the basket.
Ranked first in the nation amongst freshmen last year, averaging over 2 blocks per game. Was the ACC Freshman of the Week 5 times. Really burst onto the scene. Poised for a breakout year as Gakdeng this year, but having a little bit of difficulty against an experienced player like Mikulášikova underneath. Here's Waggoner, puts it on the floor. Offensive rebound, finds it herself, and gets fouled on the way up. Thursday, the women's basketball game of the night features a matchup of 2 undefeateds as Dawn Staley and number 1 South Carolina take on Clemson at Little John Coliseum. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. My friend Kelly Gramlich will be on the call for that one. As Waggoner knocks down the first. Waggoner, 2019 Miss Tennessee basketball, 2020 McDonald's All-American game nominee. Talk about the accolades that she has. Now kind of set for a breakout year for the Eagles.
And she's another one of those ACC to ACC intra-conference transfers. We've seen a lot of that in the Atlantic Coast Conference over the past couple of years.
Mikesell rattles home a three. Taylor Mikesell, her second of the game. I mean, at this point, it's kind of pick your poison, right? When Sheldon and Mikesell both get hot, that can be danger. And a travel for Daly.
And there's another one of those dead man corners, if you will. Ricky Harris did, Madison Green did a great job of cutting off to the baseline so they could use the baseline in that trap. And Mikesell, it seems like she's been kind of quiet tonight, Sam. She's got 12 points.
Yeah, quiet.
She's 2
12.
for 3 from beyond the arc. She's just an assassin. And if she gets an open look, I mean, she shoots nearly 50% from 3. 1 out of 2 is going in. That's insane.
She doesn't force it, though, right? I mean,
Right.
She only takes the shot that's there. That one off the back iron, and there's Cody McMahon. Oh, that was close. Might have gotten tipped in the backcourt. Here's McMahon on the drive. She will go to the line to shoot 2 after a hard foul. All smiles, though, from McMahon.
Basketball's a contact sport. We know that. And she got some contact from Gakdeng and Waggoner.
It's going to be the third on Gakdeng.
But McMahon gets right back up, as you said, Sam. She's actually a freshman who enrolled in the spring. So she was there for that first semester of spring ball.
Right.
She was on their scout team. She was able to get acclimated to college life and to college basketball. And so she's had that extra semester that some of these other freshmen that she's going to end up playing against have not had. I think that's invaluable. You can see it so far in the effect it's had.
Daly misses the open layup, but the follow is there for Todd. 6 points now for Taina Todd. Mikulashikova, does she have 3? She does. 3 3-pointers for Rebecca Mikulashikova tonight.
She only shot 29% from 3 last season. You can tell, Sam, she's been in the lab this offseason working on her 3-point shot.
First points for Shoemate of the night. And the pressure continues for Ohio State. The clock winding down. Gakdeng gets fouled and the basket with 1.9 left to go in the third quarter.
Excellent patience by this young team, knowing they had only a little bit of time, but not rushing it, not forcing a runner or some kind of weird shot, but getting into a good set and finding Gakdeng for the and one.
Maria Gakdeng said during the media days you guys were there that she felt she needed to take on more of a leadership role. We'll see how that plays out this year, but so far she was able to take a leadership role and get Boston College a couple of points before the buzzer. 64-45, Ohio State with the lead. Turnovers continue aplenty, but it's Mikulashikova with 19 points to lead the way for Ohio State as we head to the fourth quarter here. Make of the top 10 this year, and also where does Ohio State go after their huge win over Tennessee this week?
I think the only place for Ohio State to go is up, Sam, and they're going to move up in this poll. I expect them to be in the top 10 when the poll comes out next week. I think they jump up somewhere near Louisville, that 7-8 range. Obviously, Tennessee, I think, is going to fall a decent bit. I think this is a top 10 team, and of course, Ohio State and Louisville play each other at the end of the month, so that's going to be an exciting matchup. And any Big Ten fans who may be watching, Iowa had a very close game
really
with Drake.
Close.
They had to pull it out in overtime at Drake. Ohio State won a share of the Big Ten title last year. It's a very good league with Indiana, with Michigan, with Nebraska, but I think one of the reasons why Taylor Mikesell decided to come back, Sam, is she feels like it's not just Iowa and everybody else in the Big Ten, and sometimes that's the way we talk about it, but that is simply not the case because Ohio State is a very good team.
No question, they were picked to finish second in the Big Ten coaches preseason poll, third in the media poll. Iowa picked unanimously as the preseason favorite, with, of course, Caitlin Clark as the preseason player of the year for the second straight year in the Big Ten. Mair with a nice shot there after the fake. And Taina Mair, the talented freshman with 4 points on the night.
A freshman from right here in Boston, was the Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year, averaged a triple-double as a senior in high school. She's going to have a great career. Obviously, she's off to a quick start here. Being a freshman point guard is a very tough thing to do. You have to figure out who to get the ball to, where. You've got to handle pressure like this, but I think she's acclimating well.
Green not slowing up for the moment, finding Mikulashikova, who's running away with it right now. 23 points, excuse me, on the night.
I really like Mikulashikova's game, and she is their true 5 player. They play a lot of 4-round 1, 4 guards.
Yeah.
Theory and McMahon are both, they have great size at 6 foot, but they're technically guards. And so she's got to pick up the rebounding. She's got to do a lot at that 5 spot. And I love how she's shooting the 3. That's a difference maker. When every single player on the floor is a threat to knock down the 3, that is very, very difficult to guard.
Coach Kevin McGuff likes to run that kind of 5-out offensive system, right? The 5 players on the floor starting on the outside. When you have a player like Mikulashikova who can knock down 3s, that makes it all the more easy to run that kind of system.
And on the flip side, she's done a really good job defensively against Gakdeng. And so you need a player where she can fit into your system offensively, but she also can guard that super talented big on the other side.
Knocked out of the hands of Lacey. Mikesell loses it in the open floor. Mikesell goes to work, gets fouled. She'll go up and shoot 2. Let me ask you this question, Kelly, little brainstormer. The team that beats Ohio State this year did blank well. Like, what do you need to do to beat Ohio State?
You have to handle the pressure. You have to not let them speed you up, break the pressure. And I think sometimes what teams do against Ohio State, they fall into the trap of, we've broken the pressure, we have to go score now. You can break the pressure and you have 20, 15 seconds left on the shot clock and still run something that you want to run. You just can't let Ohio State dictate exactly how the game's going to be played. So it's going to take a disciplined team, a team that can be very disciplined against the press, and then once they beat it in the half court, and then adding on to that, Sam, to beat Ohio State, you have to be able to make 3s.
It's going to be the 3rd personal foul on Taylor Theory as the shoe falls off for Daly.
And that's been an issue for BC. You look at the 3-point numbers, Ohio State's made 7, BC's made 1. I mean, that's a big difference there when you look at the 3-point line.
Daly with the fake, had it partially blocked, and Mikulashikova, who's in the rebound. Jump ball possession arrow will stay with Boston College. .23 points there for Mikulashikova, career high for the senior. Gakdeng fighting underneath. Kicks it out. Daly fakes the pass, now puts it on the floor. Gakdeng on the other side with the up and in.
I've really liked what I've seen from Gakdeng, specifically in the second half. I thought in the first half she could have been a little more aggressive. The second half, she has looked like a more mature player. She's been asking for the ball. She's been rebounding the ball better. And we know for BC, they need Gakdeng to be in double figures for them to be in games, especially against a team like Ohio State.
Catch ACC PM with Mark Packer, Trey Boston, and Taylor Tannenbaum. They talk football as well as the latest from around the ACC sports world. Tune in weekdays at 4 Eastern right here on the ACC Network, and of course on the ESPN app. Andrea Daly's had herself quite a night tonight. 11 points, 6 boards, 4 for 7 from the floor.
Coach Mack is looking for some more depth. She's looking for some more pieces that she can work with, and I think Andrea Daly has earned herself some more playing time tonight with how she's played.
Little miscommunication there between Mikulášíková and Meitzel, and Lacey takes advantage as she gets fouled on the way up. Talk a little bit more about Boston College and their way forward. I don't really think it's much of an argument that Boston College could have been in the NCAA tournament in 2 of the last 3 years, right? Yep. So you lose all those seniors and you're rebuilding, if that's the word that you want to use, but a lot of talent on this team. What does the path forward look like for Boston College this year, and what is a successful season for the Eagles?
Well, I think they have to continue like they did in the second half to play through Maria Gakdeng, to not forget about her inside, get her touches. She is one of your most talented players. I like what you've seen from Dontavia Waggoner. It's really going to come down to the evolution and the maturity of these young freshmen, and that's a lot to put on them. To put on Mair and Todd, your starting backcourt, both true freshmen, but they're going to learn early, and a test like this is really good for them. To play a team like Ohio State, you're going to make some mistakes, but you can also build some confidence when you go back and look at this film.
Also helps when you have a former standout, Emma Guy, back on the bench, returning to the Heights as a graduate assistant this year. She sits 11th all-time in school history in rebounds. She's going to be a big help, I can imagine, helping Gakdeng down low and giving her some advice, things that worked when she was here. But that's a cool little story there. Emma Guy back up in the Heights.
She was the team leader for that COVID team that was in the NCAA tournament if they had had one. That was a really good Boston College team in the 1920 season.
And imagine for some of these players and for Coach Mack, it's great to have new faces, but it's also nice to have familiar faces returning back to help out the program. That's what Emma Guy is doing. Todd's 3 off the back iron. What a rebound there from Gakdeng. Tried to find Todd. Ball gets wrapped up on the floor. And I think Coach McGuff got a timeout in there. Nonetheless, still a 20-point lead for Ohio State, 72-52, with 6:02 left to go here in the game.
Out of owners insures your car. Because sometimes
He's an AP poll. And BC picked pretty low, but I think that's just because the media, the coaches, they understand that they lost those 5 seniors from last year. So there were a lot of unknowns coming into this season. But as we've said, BC traditionally over the last couple of years under Coach Mack has not finished in the bottom 5 of this league.
And Boston College has also had the reputation of playing disruptor in the ACC. They almost beat NC State
twice
last year, twice. So they can certainly do that to the best of them. About 5 minutes left in the game. When knocked out, will stay with Boston College. What are some of the takeaways for Coach Mack and Boston College here in this game?
Well, the turnovers are a concern. And yes, you're playing a team that is pressing the entire game. This is what they do. This is their MO. But other teams can see this film and think, okay, maybe we'll throw in a press package or something here and there. But I do think you really like what you've seen from Gakdeng, Dontavia Waggoner, and Daly. Daly coming off the bench and giving you 11 points and 6 boards. That's pretty unexpected. But I do think the press break needs to be shored up. A lot of that is just you've got your backcourt is 2 true freshmen. They've never seen pressure like this. I feel like I've used the word relentless a bunch of times, but that's the only way to describe what Ohio State does. And if you're a freshman, this is just your 3rd college game. It can be a bit of a culture shock when you see this team pressing for the entire game.
And again, we said it at the top. We've said it a couple of times now. This Ohio State team forced 29 turnovers. 29 against Tennessee a couple of days ago. And you bring that defense in here against a Boston College team that is trying to build up a freshman backcourt. That is a challenge. The likes that BC may not see this year.
And one of the differences, too, with this Ohio State team is the buy-in from these players into this system. You're up 20 with 4 minutes to go, and you're still pressing. This is just what we do. That's what Ohio State says. That's what Coach Kevin McGuff says. This is our system. This is our identity. And we're going to keep playing like we play until the final buzzer.
Going to be Ohio State basketball as JoJo Lacey will check back in. She's got 4 fouls tonight. I do think it's fair to say that Boston College, while they may lose this one by a good chunk, is going to look drastically different by the end of the season, just based on what we know about Coach Mack and how she coaches.
Definitely. When you have so many young players, I remember being a freshman, you play those first couple games and your head is swimming. You don't really know what's happening. The season is long. There are going to be times where these freshmen hit a wall, but I think that Coach Mack, like you said, Sam, there's no way this team looks like this as they get into January and February.
JC Sheldon gets to the paint and rattles one home. She's got 11 points now on the night. 3 Buckeyes in double figures this evening. .6-0 run for Ohio State as Boston College continues to try and find somebody that will knock down some threes for them this year. They're 2 for 8 now in the game. Upcoming schedule for the Boston College Eagles will look like this. At Northeastern this Wednesday at 11 a.m. Then they will be at Providence. Or excuse me, home at Providence, that's right. And then home at Holy Cross as well before heading off to the Puerto Rico Clasico in San Juan. So that'll be exciting for BC.
That sounds nice, heading down to Puerto Rico for Thanksgiving. And that's a schedule where I think your freshmen can get some more experience, build up some more confidence. You're not playing any more Power 5 teams in those next 5. Ohio State, this is a very difficult test for any team, especially a team with true freshmen in that backcourt. But the schedule gets a little easier for BC after this.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier before the game, too. I don't know how many Mikesell and Sheldon combos there are, but if there are any, it's rare. That's how good this backcourt is.
They are one of the best backcourts in the country. The other ones that come to mind, it's so early, it's tough to tell, but you think of Ohio State, as we said, you think of Oklahoma, Maddie Williams and Taylor Robertson, a great shooting backcourt. Virginia Tech, right here in the ACC, Georgia Amore and Ashley Owusu, the transfer from Maryland. LSU, really like Alexis Morris and Floje Johnson, the freshman. And then Notre Dame, I think Olivia Miles and Dara Mabry both played really well in that win over Cal. So those are a few that come to mind. I think as we get maybe a month in, we can truly assess, but it's hard to pick another backcourt and say they are better than Mikesell and Sheldon and what they do.
Just about half, maybe a little bit more than half of the scoring will come from those two. I think if you're Coach Kevin McGuff, you've also gained some confidence in Mikulashikova in this game, going up against a player like Gakdeng and also knocking down 3 three-pointers. So that's impressive for a team that doesn't have a lot of size. JoJo Lacey now into double figures as well with 11 points. Allie Van Timmeren, a player that Coach Mack would really like to see get going. High expectations for her, and another player that actually came to campus early a couple of years ago. Couple of substitutions coming in for Ohio State. Here is their upcoming schedule, and I think you got to circle, bold, underline. At number 7 Louisville, November 30th. It'll be on the ACC network at 7:30 Eastern time. And what very well could be a top 10 matchup.
I cannot wait for that game. There are going to be so many marquee matchups in this ACC Big Ten Challenge. You also have NC State going to Iowa. You've got Indiana and North Carolina playing Nebraska and Virginia Tech. The list goes on, but that's the big one. And those two teams are very hopeful of getting a top 4 national seed. That could be a game where you look back and it can be used as a tiebreaker or a signature win in the non-conference. So make sure you tune into that game. And that game is at Louisville. So that crowd, that atmosphere in the Yum Center could also be a factor as well. That'll be a great test for both of those clubs.
So for Boston College tonight, certainly a learning experience going against the number 14 team in the country, soon to be probably a top 10 team in the country as well. The turnovers will improve, but Ohio State talked about their aspirations, Kelly, of reaching it to a Final Four. They had those aspirations last year. This year it feels more like an actual realistic possibility. Ebony Walker gets her own rebound, puts it back up, no good. A whistle underneath going against Heaven Bristow. Boston College in the bonus, so we're going to be shooting for the duration of this one. 11.1 seconds left to go. We also talked to Coach Mack before the game about a new facility. They're building new facilities here, which she has said they're really excited about.
They are. They're going to have a basketball-only practice facility, upgrade their locker room, weight room, practice facility. I think it's be called the Hogue Pavilion. Yep. So that is a very good sign for BC. We love to see that investment into hoops, and I think that investment will get some good return with Coach Mack.
I don't think there's any question about it. As the clock hits double zeros. Final here in Conti Forum. Ohio State wins it 82-64. 4 players in double figures as Rebecca Mikulashikova led the way with 23 points. Kelly, your final thoughts?
I think Ohio State lived up to the hype. This is a team that should have Big Ten championship and beyond aspirations. Really impressed with Mikulashikova. I think having her emerge and being that consistent scorer